Oh.
There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. The recording button worked this time. Welcome to Heart Talk. Today is August the 21st in the year 2018. I'm Sue Ellen Dickinson, and I will be your host and with you for the next hour or so. Very interesting conversation that I want to get to today. But before we do, let me remind you that Heart Talk is so much more than an ordinary call. And why is that? Well, because this is where you can speak your mind straight from your heart. And, of course, that's exactly what we're going to do, just like we do every Tuesday morning right here on our Heart Talk program, special as it is, right? And I'm so glad we finally got that record button to work, and this way we can get it out to all the wonderful people. Hello, everybody out there in replay land who is going to listen to this on the replay. We'll get that to you as soon as we're done here. But anyway, let me remind you, too, that Heart Talk is brought to you by The Essentials. And The Essentials are wonderful, amazing nutritional supplemental products which has been created by our very own Dr. Rudy Cartwright. And, of course, Dr. Cartwright, in case you don't know, is a very well-renowned neurosurgeon, that's a brain surgeon. He's also an expert in multiple sclerosis. And he has created some products for us MS, they are just amazing to deal with our symptoms, such as our fatigue, helping get rid of that, helping to get rid of and controlling the pain, tingling and numbness, and vision problems, balance, and helping to clear up that all-too-pesky brain fog, which you know I love to hate. I'm sure you do too. But anyway, these products are amazing. The Essentials is what I call the flagship product of this whole series of products that Dr. Cartwright has created for us. They are all natural ingredients, and they can be, yes, they can be taken with your current medications. So if you're interested in maybe finding a way to get some of that energy back you may have lost along the way, get back to doing things that you really miss doing that you did maybe back in the day, you might consider getting yourself a bottle of these Essentials because they really are helping people to feel better, one less symptom at a time. So where do you get them? Great question. I'm going to be sending you an email as soon as we're done here, kind of expected about an hour or so after we do hang up, and go look for it in your inbox. And in that email, not only will you have the link to the replay of this great conversation we're about to indulge in, but also scroll down about halfway, and you will see capital letters, Get Dr. Cartwright Supplements, and look a little further, deeper into that, and there will be the link to The Essentials. Click on that. You'll be able to read everything I've just told you so far and more. Also, you'll be able to see a list of the ingredients of these wonderful Essentials. And I can't think of a better name that he came up with to call this formula The Essentials, because in my book anyway, they are essential. And, you know, I think to myself often, I wonder what would have happened if I had known about Dr. Cartwright and Dr. Cartwright's products years ago when I was having symptoms. Even though I was on my road to recovery, would it have sped it up a little bit? Would I have, gotten better a little faster by using Dr. Cartwright's products? Well, we'll never know the answer to that, and that's okay. But what I can do is tell you about the Essentials and all of Dr. Cartwright's products today and encourage you. So look for that email. Click on that link when you get it. And as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, either give me a call or send me an email at SueEllenDickinson@gmail.com. That's SueEllenDickinson@gmail.com. So with that, and I've told you all about, my favorite product, which is the Essentials. Boy, do I love them. But anyway, let's get down to business. I hope everybody got the email I sent out yesterday. Apologize in advance to anybody that didn't get my reminder notice this morning because I didn't send it out. We had a little household emergency, nothing that we couldn't take care of around 8 o'clock this morning here at the house. But I had to get a little handyman over and somebody to work something on the house and also help me get my truck started. So Anyway, I think we're back in business, but let me just say that in case we do get interrupted, in case one of these guys does come to the door while we're on the call, you'll understand, and I'll just excuse myself for a few minutes. Be right back. So at least you know what's happening, what's going on, because they're not done working around here yet, but I'm sure they will be soon. But anyway, having said that, bringing you up to date, something always happens. That's just the way life is. But I ran across this article, and I always, it seems like no sooner are we done with one Heart Talk on Tuesday morning than I'm already researching to do next week's Heart Talk, and that's what happened here. And I ran across a very interesting article by Dianne Scott, and I really like the way she writes because she is just as honest about, bringing her feelings out as can be. And she really lays it on the line. I like the way she speaks in her article, and she says it like it is. But this one, in a way, I thought was kind of a very sad article. Mm-hmm. You'll know why in a minute because I'm going to read it to you. But in another way, I think Dianne faces her everyday challenges with MS in a very realistic and courageous manner. And she does, I believe, what we talk about often here on Heart Talk. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Thank you, Dr. Wayne Dyer, for that amazing quotation, which I live by, or try to anyway. And I'm always hammering it over your head, aren't I? But it's true. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. They really do. And I think this is a point, although Dianne does not use that quote directly, this is where she goes with this. And I salute you, Dianne. My hat's off to you because you did an amazing job. And like I say, I just love her honesty. But let's get right down into the meat and potatoes of this thing. So in her article, which I'm about to read to you, she says, how does being independent dissolve into being dependent or even helpless? And I'd really love to hear what you have to say about this. So I'm going to read it to you, and you decide, okay? This is Dianne's article called Independent, Dependent, or Helpless. Here goes. Recently, someone used the word helpless when referring to me, and I was taken aback. I actually had a funny feeling about being termed or viewed as such. Now, I often note that MS has heavily impacted my independence, but I've never associated my situation with helplessness. It prompted me to do a bit of research and self-reflection on the state of my situation and the message I'm sending out relative to it. Is being helpless the vibe I'm giving out subconsciously? Independence is taking care of oneself. On the other hand, dependent means to be reliant on someone or something. And then there is helpless, which is described as being unable to help oneself, weak or dependent, deprived of strength or power, incapacitated, and the Cambridge Dictionary even goes on to say, unable to do anything to help yourself or anyone else. I suppose I've always known what these words mean, but didn't understand until I actually read the dictionary why being coined as helpless brought me pause. Helplessness, by definition, seems almost pitiful, sad even. There's also a term, learned helplessness, which refers to the feeling one adopts when incapable of accomplishing tasks and has little or no control of the environment. For example, if I perform poorly on tests, I'd begin to feel that nothing I do will have any effect on my performance. I'm not any of that. This is not my ideal self or who I want to be. That is not my self-image, and definitely not the image I want to project and the vibe I want to give. Unfortunately, I live with the reality that MS has hijacked the fine and gross motor skills necessary to do even the smallest of tasks without a great amount of effort or without partial to total assistance. However, I don't see myself as or feel helpless. I don't see myself as or feel as though I'm powerless or without strength. I don't see myself as or feel incapacitated, and I certainly don't see myself as or feel that I can't do anything to help myself or anyone else, nor, even through the challenges of life, with or without a chronic disease, that I have learned to be helpless due to not doing some things well, or resign myself to thinking that that's it for me. I am no longer independent in many ways. It is necessary for me to depend on a wheelchair or walker or to ambulate. It is necessary to depend on someone to help me in and out of my vehicle. It is necessary for me to depend on someone to get me a meal or sometimes cut my food. I could go on, but to focus on all of this is for one that has a pessimistic type of style. I am the opposite. I am an optimist. I choose to view my life with hope, despite MS and its unpredictability. I concentrate on all that I can do, what ability I still have, due to what I can do, when I can do it, and so forth. Among other things, I have a voice, written and verbally. I have a voice to bring awareness to living with MS and other timely topics. I can be an inspiration to others going through trials. And for physical assistance, I can solicit my network of friends, family, and medical insurance. My choice, my ideal self, my vibe is and will remain to not wither away helplessly, despite the need to be dependent on others and assistive devices for my daily routine. All is not lost, and I am not and refuse to view myself as helpless. And that is what Dianne Scott has to say about being independent, dependent, or helpless.
Good for her.
Yeah. What do you think?
Good for her.
What do you think?
I was enraged when I read it. I
Really?
just couldn't believe that somebody would refer to another person as helpless.
Yeah, I reacted the same way, yeah.
Everyone is so much more than just their body. You know what I mean? I mean, it just upset me so much. I think she was in the right direction. I think she hit it right on the nail, you know. I feel sad for her that somebody referred to her as helpless.
Yeah.
Because that must be a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And, yeah. I could tell, or my instinct was that prompted the inspiration to write that article.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it really hit deep.
Mhm.
It hit
and
deep.
Is it something? I think it's something she overheard somebody saying.
Wait a minute. Let me go back. I don't recall. Where is it?
It was a staff person there.
Oh, Dianne. Okay. No. This is the opening line here. Recently, someone used the word helpless when referring to me. I was taken aback.
Yeah. Oh, what an awful feeling.
Isn't that awful? Yeah, listen to this next line. She goes on, I actually had a funny feeling about being termed or viewed as such. So it sounds like that it was in the back of her mind. So that leads me to wonder people's body language, other things they've said to her or about her, the tone perhaps they've used when speaking to her. Why was that already in the back of her mind? And then somebody actually said it. They called her helpless. I agree. I think that's just abject cruelty. I really do.
Yeah. Absolutely. I really think that she did a very good job writing that article, and that she did talk about the things that she's not able to do and the things that she is able to do. And she's not helpless.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Yeah. And she talks about, the times when she was independent, and I think it was great the way she described herself as being dependent, but she will not allow basically this to control her. And what have we said over and over and over again? That the only thing that we truly own and control in this life is what? Anybody remember?
Our heartbeat.
It's our will. Yeah, you're.
I'm sorry, I'm answering.
That's fine. No. That's all part of it. It's our will.
The funny thing is, I was thinking will. I didn't say it because I was on mute. I was trying to unmute myself, but
that's okay. Yeah, that's the only thing. See, what people in general fail to realize, and I think we'll all agree this. I mean, just put MS aside, just taking people in general. What people fail to realize is that everything that we have can be taken away from us. Whether you're talking about physical things, physical possessions, cars, automobiles, jewelry, money, clothing, everything. Everything can be taken away in a snap. It can. But the one thing nobody can take from you is your will.
Mm-hmm.
Can't.
Yeah.
Not possible unless you freely give it to them. Mm-hmm. Can't. And this, I believe, is where Dianne was going, and how she ended up. What she was saying is that I am still me, and we've talked about that too, over and over. That you are still you, no matter what. Nobody can take that from you. And it's the adjustment. I she was verbally in this case. I'm in writing, and verbally. She was adjusting her definition of where she is, maybe adjusting her attitude a little bit. Who knows? Maybe this was partially a pep talk to herself, which was a beautiful one. That was her intent. Oh, go ahead.
Attitude.
What's that, Val?
I believe it's all attitude. I believe that we have control if we adjust our attitude. Now, we may not want to accept the truth, but if they are indeed the truth, we'll be better off when we do accept it. But we have to, it's our attitude. Now, things ain't like they used to be, but it can be good. It's different, but it can still be good.
Right. You're breaking up a little bit. If I understood everything you said, basically what you're saying is it boils down to adjusting our attitude. Was that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. It was a phone connection there. The one thing along those lines, and I'm glad you brought that up, because, taking into account everything we've talked about along these lines and now incorporating what Dianne's talking about, and what you're saying, adjust our attitude. It's sort of like the old adage. Remember, charity begins at home, right? In other words, we've got to adjust ourselves. We've got to adjust and perhaps reposition our will, our attitude, not only for our own mental and emotional health, obviously, but not only that, but because we're not in the convincing business. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, I think maybe some people, God love them, in the beginning, particularly if when we find ourselves being one of the in-between people. And if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it in a minute, but just go with me for a sec. We convince, or we're trying to convince someone, oh, gee, I'm sorry I appeared that way, or I'm sorry my hands are trembling, I'm sorry I tripped, I'm sorry I bumped into you, gee, I didn't mean to slam the door in your face, my hand slipped. But we're not, I believe we go through a stage and maybe this is when we're the in-between people, but where we try and convince people of what? Well, that depends on who we are and, how we feel that we want to convince them that basically we're okay. We're okay. Now, obviously, eventually it reaches a point where there will be people in the world who will call us helpless. They just are. Sometimes the woods are full of them.
The woods are full of them?
Sometimes, yes. In some places, yeah.
That's a great line, yeah.
It's true. It's true. And in some cultures or environments, social environments, maybe more than others, because it's very hard to find sympathetic people who understand. And so once we are no longer part of the in-between crowd, right, then we have to readapt. We have to readjust, as Val is saying, because it's like, okay, this isn't working. I'm not, and you finally realize to yourself, I'm not in the convincing business. People are going to think whatever they're going to think, for whatever reason they're going to think it. And for people...
And that should be okay with us.
Say again, Val?
That should be okay with us.
Yeah. Yeah. And in doing so, you're okay with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They have not come to the realization, or maybe they don't know how. In reading this, I see where Dianne, she's doing very well, I think, with her attitude. And just for those people, you maybe the people on the replay who haven't heard us talk about the in-between people, let me just quickly explain so you're not saying, what? What's she talking about? The in-between people is what we call them. The in-between people are the people basically who are having symptoms of MS, the tripping, the falling, the speech, the brain fog, the fatigue, all that stuff, whatever it is. But they're kind of in the early stages of this journey, and they don't know why yet. They don't know why their bodies are not working the way they want them to. Why the brain isn't signaling the foot not to trip over nothing in front of them. And they are in between people. They are in between a normal life that perhaps they had a year or two ago, and today, we're having these strange things happen to us that have not been diagnosed yet. Say again, Val, please.
It's becoming something else now.
Right, and they don't know why. They have not been diagnosed, and so they're in between normal life and the diagnosis of MS. So we coin those the in-between people. And I think maybe that in-between stage with the mental/emotional attitude sometimes gets a little bit neglected because it doesn't get adjusted. I love the way you brought that up, the way you said that, Val, because it is a genuine adjustment. Sometimes it's a complete 180, mentally and emotionally, because we have to realize, hey, this is on me. Mm-hmm. I'm the only one in charge of my feelings. I'm the only one in charge of my emotions. I'm the only one in charge of how I'm going to react to this person who just called me helpless. Who do they think they are? I'm not helpless. But putting it into perspective, putting it into a realistic context. Say again?
You can show them that you are not helpless.
Exactly. Yeah. How would you do that, Val?
When you say that you want to be more independent, and then you should, and I think that it begins with your thinking. And what you are not willing to give up. what you are not willing to settle. And I'm not saying when physical affects you in a certain way. I believe that so much goes back to your attitude. It's how we face it, how we deal with it. Even when it's the truth, when things aren't favorable, we want to not accept it. I did that when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I must have changed jobs 4 times because I did not want to see multiple sclerosis.
You didn't want to believe it.
Didn't want to believe it.
What happened to make you believe it?
I noticed changes with my physical. I used to work out a lot, and it got so that when I did it, well, I wasn't doing it anymore, but it was so difficult. So I'm saying that I faced it when the things that used to be without thought were hard.
Yeah. I get it.
I think that accepting it, I thought that it would make me change.
You thought it would make you change?
It makes you better.
Yeah. Stronger, in a way? I mean, mentally stronger?
Yes.
Why is that, Val?
Why it makes you stronger?
Yeah.
Accepting the truth about anything, even stuff that you don't want to be true. It makes you stronger, even when you face the ugly things that you don't want. But when you do, it makes you stronger.
Determination? Is that what you had, was determination?
I think that is it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and I believe you've got to have that, start off that journey with a real can-do attitude. I can do this. And it's prefaced. Would you girls agree with me? It is prefaced. Maybe it starts in the in-between stage. I don't know. Yeah. And graduates into this, but you go through a very lonely trial with this, a real degree of aloneness. In other words, coming to the reality and the realization that Val is outlining. You follow me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that journey is sharp. It stings like a scorpion bite. It hurts beyond hurt. It will cut you in half if you're not careful, because it is the sharpest emotional knife I know of. And it has to be handled very carefully and very gingerly, in my opinion.
And you got your mental status.
Yes.
You got to have it in check.
Yes.
You have to doggone be kind to it.
Right. Because there are people who have been diagnosed in between stage or further down the road, doesn't matter, who are not mentally strong. They're not emotionally strong. And those are the people. I don't know about you guys, but I've run into them, many of them, over time, and they just they can't seem to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, so to speak, and take it to the next level of.
That's those helpless people.
I'm sorry. Say again.
That's helplessness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But is it because they don't want to, or because they can't, or they won't? That's always been a little question mark in my mind. Why in the world wouldn't somebody at least give it their best shot, or at least try and take their thinking to the next level? Yes, somebody called me helpless. And instead of withering up in a ball and crying my eyes out for a week and, feeling sorry for myself over it, why don't I just find some strength?
Determination.
And determination.
Yeah.
To deal with it and hopefully overcome it and grow from it and learn from it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Do you? Does anybody? I mean, I really don't understand why people don't try.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that everyone that doesn't succeed, I don't think it's because they have not tried. It is, wow, we're all different, and maybe they are using something different from you would use.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but
maybe when you are building your bridge for life, maybe it's not a good foundation.
Right. And yet, Val, with this disease, at some point or another, we are all cornered. We're cornered. We're trapped. And we either face it and deal with it, or we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also that point, and we all agree on this, there's the point of no return where you can't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
You simply can't. But we're still cornered. If we allow ourselves to be cornered and we're trapped, and we've got to find a way out of that trap. And I mean by that trap, the emotional, mental
denial?
trap. Huh? Yeah.
Is
that can
denial?
be it. That's part. That can be part of it. Sure.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm stuck trying to understand the people who are cornered, because it happens to all of us, who can't deal with it, won't deal with it, and they start going downhill in many, many ways because of it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Why?
It does.
Do you know why?
You know what?
What do you think?
I know someone in my life who would rather talk to you about everything that's wrong with her physically. Mm-hmm. And she serves that up as her conversation to people.
Right.
To talk. Well, I have this, and it's really not that great, and then I have this, and it's almost like that's her. That's all she is.
Mm-hmm.
Is this serving of, look at me, I'm in a terrible position. Poor me, poor me.
Yeah.
And
is this person a hypochondriac or just so self-absorbed?
Self-absorbed.
Self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they a bragger? Maybe when she's listing the things that aren't as challenging as you, is she bragging?
No, it's almost like all of this has become her identity.
Mm-hmm.
I've had trouble with my heart, and that's a really, this is her speaking.
Okay.
A really big thing. Like I could die any moment now. That's just the way it is. That's what the surgeon told me, which is total BS. But it's just a. She has had heart problems, but why put it out there and lie about it?
Important.
Yeah.
She wants to be important.
Yeah, but it just doesn't work with me.
I think any of us could die at any time, but I'm talking about anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't spend all your time talking about or serving up all of your illnesses to everyone that you meet. That can't be your opening line, hopefully. Hello would be nice. How are you?
Yeah.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, it really gets me annoyed.
I'm sure. But that's really sad. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I hate to use the word, but it's almost pathetic. It really is.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
And I have tried to say, listen, maybe you don't want to talk about this so much. And she just stands up and leaves the room.
Really? Yeah.
And so that's her, we'll say vibe. I learned a word,
right.
New word. That's how she chooses to see her life. But I just couldn't hang around.
That's sad.
Yeah. It is. It's very sad.
Yeah. I really feel sorry for that kind of person. I'm going to guess that person is on the extreme end of this. But it's a lot. It's the same thing that we're talking about. No matter, small, medium, or large percentage of their makeup is about not about solving the quote problem or dealing with the quote issue, but it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where a lot of people end up.
Mm-hmm.
And the person you're talking about, I think, is probably an extreme example. Maybe not. Maybe there's more. Maybe the woods are full of them. I don't know.
The phone call. How are you? This is me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's raining today.
Yeah. the negative tone. Yeah.
It's raining.
It's raining.
I don't understand it. I never will understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an attitude, and that goes back to what Val said about adjusting your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's sad from many directions. Carol said something very wise, and that is that anything can happen to anybody at any time.
Anytime.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, we make plans for the rest of the day. We make plans for tonight, tomorrow, weeks, months in advance or longer. We don't know we're going to be here, but we don't stop to think about that. Why? Because we forget about that little thing that Carol, again, reminded us about, and that's the heartbeat. And that is the only thing that separates us from here and the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And you better believe in the other side because, there's something, whatever your beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
And it really saddens me to hear stories, of people like this, and that's what I was talking about too. Maybe not on such a grand scale, but it's the same thing. People don't appreciate what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. They don't. Here's Dianne Scott. Somebody, clearly she can still do stuff for herself. Clearly she's got to have help doing other stuff. So what? She's still Dianne Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And she appreciates her life. She appreciates what she still has and wants to hang on to it and wants to preserve it. And she's doing that by having the best attitude she possibly can. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because this girl's standing up. Boy, she's bowing up to this thing she's got, on this MS thing, and she's bowing up in the face of these people that are calling her helpless in her style, in her way. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I really do. And I want to see more of it. I think everybody on this call is the same way. But most people fail to realize that we don't have. Nobody's got a crystal ball.
That's
you know?
Yep.
We don't know what's going to happen next.
Yep.
And we don't appreciate. Most people fail to appreciate anything. And that is one classic example is that person you're talking about. It's raining. Really? Hey, that can be a very good thing because rain is good.
Yeah.
Rain makes grass grow. Rain makes crops in the field grow.
Yeah. Oh, but that just goes
eat.
right over her head like that.
Oh, I know it.
It's a bad day.
I'm just saying.
Bad day. It's raining.
It's a bad day for whatever that reason is that applies to her. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. And that's a sad thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because it is about your attitude.
Yep.
And how you adjust and how you think. And we talked about, at some point, everybody is one of the in-between people.
Yeah.
And then at some point later, whatever later is for everybody, because we're all a little different, but we're all the same, at some point, it's going to back you in a corner. And you're not going to be able to get out, and you are in a trap, and you'd better face it. You'd better face it. Because it's you better have that do or die attitude to the positive. You better have it. Because
I think it takes a while.
It does.
It takes a while. Yeah, to believe it. Even.
Believe
even when it's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
even when it's true, it takes. Yeah. I think it's a process. Yeah, you just have to.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree because we don't all say we're not all sitting in front of our neurologist who's got that look on his face when he says you have MS, and we go, oh, okay, I have MS. Got a cane handy? I'm going to need it going home. When you can perfectly, it does. The transition is not like that. It's a transition period. And I don't know that we ever leave that transition phase. What do you think, Virginia, or anybody?
I think we should. I think that we have to leave that place because it's better for us when we do, mentally.
Yeah.
Do you think we continue to grow in a transitory way? In other words, develop, because don't forget, it's always being dangled in front of our noses, right? The normal life, the life we used to have, the life maybe everybody else has, always being dangled like a carrot.
Yeah,
on
I think
stick.
To me, the first thing was fear.
And we seem to think that because someone doesn't have a physical challenge, at least that's not what we can see. But we think that their life is better than ours. I think that when MS comes into our lives, we accept it as the end or that it is awful, and it's different. It's doggone different. And we have to change up some stuff. Maybe we have to think differently. We probably have to do things differently. And I like that reading because she spoke of independent versus dependency, and I am at a place now where there are a lot of things that I used to do. Didn't ask nobody to help me do, but now I have asked for help with something that I've never asked for before. So our heart, our mind has got to be on.
Is that difficult?
This and going through it.
Yeah. But always being independent, Val. Is it difficult now to ask for help? Or
no.
Have you gone past that and you're okay with it?
I am. Do you know that it's been 18 years that I've had MS, so what I wasn't comfortable with 18 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I am so comfortable with it because this doggone thing called MS that I didn't ask, didn't invite it into my life, but it's here. And so I told it to go away, but it didn't.
Guys, please keep up the conversation. I'm going to have to step away for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay.
The workmen are here. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep. Well, you bring up a good point, Val. It's really, I can tell you're a really determined person.
and MS forces that you to do. For me, I am faced with, I talk to myself a lot.
Self?
but I ain't never answered me. But anyway, I want to move forward. I want every day to be better than the day before.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Amen. I love that.
Yeah.
We're all getting better and better.
Yeah. That's really, really a good, positive way of looking at things. Yeah.
And speaking of positive things, I read something yesterday. It says, when you think you're down to nothing, God is up to something. And I thought, oh, I love that. I love that.
And I like that too. It's true. And I think because people are so doggone sure of themselves, I don't think that everyone recognizes that there is something over them. Because I've met people that think they like, I don't know, no more than God.
Exactly.
And I have learned through MS that it is so necessary for me to encourage myself. Sometimes I have to, and I don't be giving myself parties or nothing, but I talk to myself. Okay, it looks kind of bad, but it's not.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best conversations I have is with myself. I got to get my own opinion sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I get along with myself very well.
You do.
There you go. There you go.
And sometimes
I'm the
that seems
nicest
to be the
person
case.
I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that I know. No.
Well,
Maybe that came out wrong. Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You're back.
Okay.
My
Everything
apologies. My apologies, guys. I had to step away for a minute.
That's okay.
No problem.
We're all
No,
still
what-
here.
Huh?
I said we're all still here.
Oh, thank you. Well,
you're definitely welcome.
I tell you what, I can't believe we are almost at the top of the hour. So
We are.
where did you leave it? Did you continue talking about that subject, or did you go somewhere else?
No, I think Val was talking
Mm-hmm.
about her trip. You know, her road that she's traveled and her determination. Mhm. I think she said a lot of positive things that other people could really benefit from. You know.
I do too.
About one day being making one day better than the day before.
Yeah.
If I heard that right, Val, I'm sorry if I didn't. Yeah.
And what did Sherry say? When I'm down to nothing, God is up to something.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I have to write that down.
Yeah, when I'm down to nothing, God is up to something. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Well, guys,
Did you get the door on, Sue? Is it fixed?
Yeah. Yeah. We're working on the door knob next, and they're working on the truck right now. So that's where I had to go, and I'm going to have to go back out and see what's up. You know, and naturally it all happens on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, right? Mm-hmm. But let's go ahead and close out this portion of the program and move into the prayer portion, if that's okay with everybody. Because unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get out there. But I told him it would, be not until I'm done here, of course. Let me just see. Someone's coming to the door. Hang on. Yeah, one second.
Okay.
Well, Carl goes back to the doctor tomorrow to see if he can go back to work after his hernia surgery.
Oh.
I am so glad.
So glad that he can go back to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we've reached our limit of getting along in the same household.
Being all lovey-dovey,
we got to give
right?
a little break. You're right. I love him, but he's got to go back to work.
Yeah. Too much is just too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I get my new chair Tuesday. I just cannot wait.
Oh.
A week from
when?
A week from today, I get my brand new tilt and recline chair.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies again, guys.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're still here.
Thank you. Well, all right. Well, is there anybody who wants another comment or anything on this great subject we've been talking about before we move into the prayer portion? And again, my apologies for the interruptions. I had a feeling that was going to happen, and sure enough, there we are.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just want to encourage everyone to keep moving forward.
Mm.
Thank
there
you.
You go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, let's move into the prayer portion of our call. And we're going to switch. Can you hear me still? Because I had to switch phones there mid-sentence, but I think we're good. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's move into the prayer portion of the call. And for those who may be listening for the first time, what is the prayer portion? The prayer portion is where we read a prayer to say thank you to God for bringing us all together. And also the names are read on the prayer list. So let's do that now. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your divine intervention into the lives of so many that need your help. We ask that you answer our fervent prayers to help those who are in need and afflicted with multiple sclerosis and other ailments and diseases that are interfering with their lives and in many cases crippling their lives. As we read these names aloud now, Father, we ask that the Holy Spirit move through these lines of communication that are connecting us all around the world, and that the Holy Spirit will carry our voices together with our prayers into the heavens, and that you will hear our prayers and grant comfort to those who ask for your divine intervention in their lives, for them, for their families, and grant them healing, restore them to good health, and that you will cover them with your blessings and divine presence and protection. And we thank you, Father, for hearing our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen. I will now read the names on the prayer list. Donnell, Linda, Sandra, Erica, Shemang, Dyke, Carlos, Janet Carroll and family, Tish and Luke Ross Chems in the UK, Mary Ferris, Jeremy Mann, Julie Perkins, Rashawn Jefferson, Damon Jones, Scotty Williams, Barbara Cleary in the UK, Linda Hawley, Sylvia, Greg Evenson and family, Arthur Marsalis, Veronica Lewis, Tanya Thompson, Kathy Pedrick, Mark, Francine Menkari, Tamala Lewis and family, Michelle, Joe in the UK, Carol in Iowa, Edie, Alberta in Kansas, Will and Konachek, Sandra Moen, Susan, Russ Dizdar and family, Donna and Nathan Leal, Kathleen in Boston, Frankie, Melissa, and Destiny in Boston, Tracy Whiting, Clint and Cliff in Kansas, Phyllis in Kansas, Jennifer in the UK, Linda Jean, Sherry Gudgeon, Sabrina Sutton, Tracy Thacker, Melanie Monteith, Edie Neal, Sybil Wyndham, Manfred Pauli in Venezuela, Donna and son Andrew, Mubin in Cape Town, South Africa, Rona, Noor, Rami, Ferris, Mohammed, Jill Hahn, Travis and Ellen Thacker, John, Tommy and family, Dennis Walker, Faye, Maria in South Africa, Jennifer, Charlotte Matrisic, Maria in Nevada, Louise in Alabama, Patty in Alabama, Sybil Wyndham, Gloria, Contessa, Mrs. Disney, Ladios, Dr. Paul Hegstrom, Lorraine, Irene, Lydia, Mike Newcomb, Beverly Raza, Jason in Florida, Charlene Kelly, Daniel and Faniel in Toronto, Frankie, Robert, Stacy, Judy, Sarah, Sherry, Ron and Marge, Terry, Tim and Michelle, Constance Wadlington, Toretta, Glenda from Kansas, Larry Nichols, Melanie, Floyd, Amy and Eric Olson, Trudy, Gladys, Gerald Taylor, Diamond, Gregory, Irma, Travis John, Ertis, DeMarcus, Anne, Richard Brezen, Helen, Pearl, Irma, Grace, Rebecca, Linda and Joe in the UK, Dan and Jason Junker, Dion, Joshua and Johnny, Kalila, Aralee and the Marsh family, Julie Mullins, Grant Anderson family, Chad Cowan, Randy Guerra, Barry Wolcott, Tina and CJ, Ray, Mackenzie, Deborah, Sally, Joe, Gina, Mary in Alaska, Veronica Thomas, Karen in Seattle, Michael Freeman, Megan, Truly, Jeremiah Mask, Gwenati in Russia, Jeff Olson, Kelly in Texas, Jennifer in Kansas, Geneva Norris, Latasha Coleman, Seth Thomas, Jim Thomas family, Tanisha Washington, Cindy, Guillermo, Eula Cooper, Robert, Leo Torres, Chris Elias, Jeff London, Jared and John Chambers, Eddie Tiny, Leslie Cavazos, Ryan Cadillo, Aaron Marsh, Jimmy in the UK, Valerie and Hillary Perry, Blanche Collins, Flick Mays, Michael Kuhlman, Pope family, Baldonado family, Mary Jo in Fargo, Danielle Duran, Dr. Marty Sanders, the Hargrave crew, Lena Davis family, Sharon in London, Billy Medlock, Lola Striggles, Rondella Canida, Dave McCartney and family, Nicole, Shay Standifer and family, Billy Kuhlman, Rita Nixon, James Grace, Alton Johnson, the Johnson family, Tracy and Alice Daniels, the Elias family, Arlen, Kathy and Al Matthews, Deborah Yars de Lorenzo, Chadrick Watson, Kevin Giles, Eric, the Collins family, the Johnson family, Trevia Powell Clark and family, Ray LaBelle, Tony Delsey, Edward McFarland, Seth, Malaya Marnie Horton Fisher, Abe Martinez, Roscoe, Hattie Battle, Alberta and Chuck, Isabel, Enoch Bryant, Sister Wanda Burke, Anthony Canida, Trinity Johnson, Curtis Warren, Susan Trotter, Rhonda Pryor, Wanda Burke, James Washington, Enoch Bryant's family, Aretha McKinney, Arlen Matthews, Lee Pittman, Blessed Hardiman, Andrew Giles, Penny, Bonnie, Loretta, Ray Charles, Wayne Jones, Khadijah Cooper, Becky and family, Ashia and Kanisha Morrison, Jeff family, excuse me. Yes, I lost it right there. Sybil Morrison, Terlina Hope, the Gafford family, Emily Aguilar, Shalandra Kelly, Ann Downs, Aaron Gudgeon, Latasha Coleman, Jackie Clark, and Don Orth. And guys, it's been a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for being here with me and hanging out with me on Heart Talk. Are you still there? I hope I didn't cut you off. I hope the line held together. But anyway, I hope you can still hear me.
I'm Sue Ellen. This is
wonderful.
Carol. I'm here, but
okay.
Where is anybody else?
I don't know, and I'm going to have to run, sweetheart, but I will call you, okay? Call you later.
Okay.
So, everybody, I will see you next time on Heart Talk. Meanwhile, you stay safe out there, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Oh, somebody